Hey Chris, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to show you how I cut prescription lenses for your RayBan 5288 color 2012, which is the dark Havana in a 52 eye size. So let's begin. I'm going to take it out of the original packaging that RayBan sends to me. Let me just make sure everything's in focus. This is your RayBan case, your RayBan cleaning cloth, and RayBan sends your frame with a little protective sleeve on the left temple so the temples don't rub together during shipping. If they think it's a good idea to send one, or I'm going to put a second one on this side so we'll have twice the protection when I ship to you. But let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to remove your original demo lenses where the left lens says RayBan on there. This is a good frame with spring hinges. Good choice, good choice. And of course this is the RayBan 5288. And I'm going to pop out your original demo lenses. I'm going to take the right one out and now the left. I'm going to put your RayBan frame into my $30,000 Santanelli, the LE1000 patternless edger, where the stylus is going to come and trace the shape of the left lens. Then it's going to move over and trace the shape of the right. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy genuine, authentic RayBan frame, and you receive free prescription single vision lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses, whatever you choose. Of course, Chris, in this case you do want prescription, so I'm going to pull up the shape of your lens onto the computer. I'm going to put in your pupillary distance, which is 34.5 for the right. There we are, 34.5, and for the left I'm going to bring it down to 33. Oops, I'm still on the right, 34.5, now 33. This is a polycarb lens that I'm going to cut on the soft cycle, and because of the anti-glare coating, and this is the Xyle frame, which is just an old school name for plastic. So let's begin. I'm going to take your right lens, which reads -30, -50 at 100. So I'm going to spin the axis wheel on my Marco 101 lensometer to 100. Take the lens out of its protective sleeve, spin the power drum. Actually, let me make sure everything's zeroed out perfectly. The prism ring is where it should be. So -3. I'm going to rotate your lens until the sphere power comes in clearly. I'm going to find your optical center, clamp everything down, check the cross curve, your astigmatism, we're good there, and I'll explain all that in just a little bit. I'm going to put 3 dots on your lenses, which are hard for you to see because I need more ink, but I can see them just enough so I can darken them. And this is the right lens, so let me do the same thing for the left. Put that in the blocker, get that ready to go. Your left lens reads -3 1/4, -50 at 165. So I'm going to spin the axis wheel to 165. The power drum I will turn to -3 1/4. Put your lens in, rotate it until the sphere, the -3 1/4, comes in clearly. Find the optical center. And then put 3 more dots on your left lens. Let me darken those for you. Left, left, and left. And mark that one left. So this is the block. This is what's going to hold it in place in the lathe while it is cutting. I need to put a double-sided adhesive sticker on here. So 3M, the same people who make post-it notes, make a double-sided adhesive sticker. What's the chance of that? The black side is the sticky side, so I'm going to stick that onto the block, which is in my blocker. Pull the tape away to make this side sticky. Now what I'm looking into, hopefully you can see that, I've got 2 meridians. I've got a vertical meridian and a horizontal one. The reason why I put those 3 dots on there, I want to line those up on my horizontal meridian. The vertical one, I'm just going to cross right through that red dot, which is your optical center. So I'm just going to get lined everything up like it's the crosshairs of a scope. And then hit that button. Well, it's actually a lever. Pull the lever, see what I win. Win a prize, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Actually, it is now, speaking of dinner, 7:37 on Thursday, June 12th, 81 degrees in my hometown of Durham, North Carolina, so no dinner for me as I keep working. Cranking out these 15-hour days to get everything shipped. Okay, now because of the anti-glare coating, I'll explain the benefits of that later too, but one of the features of that is it's a hydrophobic lens, meaning that it hates water. Just like when you wax your car and the water beads right off when it rains, the same thing. Any liquid is going to bead right off of your lens. So you will only need to use your RayBan cloth to clean your lens, and of course I'll be providing one of my own cleaning cloths, and also with instructions on how to care for your case and cleaning cloth and glasses, so it will last you for years. but because the anti-glare coating makes your lens a little bit more slippery, I'm just going to put one more sticker on the back so it is clamped in there good while it is cutting. So the first thing I'm going to do is put your lens into the chuck, or as I like to say, the Charles, because I don't know the machine well enough to call it a chuck. But these calipers are going to come down. By the way, free bad humor with every pair of glasses cut. The calipers are going to come down and they're going to trace the shape of your lens, the right side of your frame, onto the rear surface, the back surface, or as we say, the concave surface first, which is closest to your eyelashes. Then it's going to move over and trace the convex side of the lens, which is the front surface, all the while measuring the thickness of the lens to know exactly where to place the bevel so it's centered inside the frame. The actual cutting wheel is down here on the bottom left. It's that lighter color wheel that's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper. It's going to grind away your lens material. And this wheel in the center with that channel, that little valley, that's what's going to put the bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. I will have to close the door due to sound, but I just want you to see as your lens touches the cutting wheel. Now your lenses are made out of, there were three main lens materials: glass, plastic, and polycarb. Glass has gone by the way of the dinosaur. You'll see it in a few sunglass lenses, but no one wants to wear it every day on their face due to the weight and for the safety factor. If you ever hit in the eye with anything, that glass cracks, it will slice your eye open and it will never heal. Plastic is the most common, it's the least expensive, it's also thicker. Polycarbonate is what is left. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is virtually unbreakable. Your lenses are bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection. Now, well, we know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin, so you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. Not only are they the thinner, lighter weight lenses, it's also an aspheric lens. The AR stands for anti-reflective coating. But aspheric, a spherical lens is round, gives you an ugly cosmetic fishbowl appearance. An aspheric lens is much flatter and it's going to fit inside the frame and give you a much better cosmetic appearance. Now the anti-glare coating, let me pull a lens out that does not have, and I stock thousands of lenses. These are all the clear. Down here, the purple wrapper that you see are the anti-glare lenses. But anti-glare is 3 features in one. The first feature, the medical beneficiary side, is that it eliminates glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain. With street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights, it eliminates all of that. Now the other feature, it's an anti-reflective lens. You can see the reflection of the overhead lights when I move the lens on my left, but not on the right. So when someone's looking at you in much better eye contact, they're not looking at their reflection in your glasses. And the biggest reason is if someone takes a picture with a flash, you won't see the flash lit up in the lens. And the third feature that I like, the practical side, it comes with the strongest scratch protection in the business. Now, the lens is done cutting. It's now actually putting the bevel on there. If you notice, there's water running in the background, but that's to keep dust down. Polycarbonate cuts dry. I love picking this stuff off as it goes around. Polycarb cuts dry where plastic and high index cut wet. So there is water running in the background, but in just a moment there's water jets. Thank you, perfect timing. That have come. This is the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle. It's just going to make sure that it washes away any optical debris or the stuff that I was just picking off the lens. Cut down some of that so it doesn't splash as much. But in just a moment I will take your lens out and we'll see if it fits into the right side of your frame. These machines cost $30,000. I recommend everyone go out and get one. You won't need me anymore. Just put it on your kitchen counter, then you can cut your own lenses at home. Okay, let's take the lens out of the chuck. Excuse me, the Charles. And the first thing I want to do is dry your lens off so it's not so slippery. Now the next thing I want to do, you still have some rough edges or burrs around the edge of your lens from the cutting cycle. I'm going to use my hand stone, which is completely flat. I can put my finger on it while it's running, and my finger does get warm due to the friction, but it's that friction that allows me to smooth out those rough edges. Now those rough edges are now a white powdery substance going around your lens. I'm going to use my thumbnail to scrape all of that off. This white substance is called Schwarf. If you're a Mel Brooks fan, this is when you say, "May the Schwarf be with you." But once it's all the way off your lens and onto the counter, I collect it all into one pile very neatly, and then I wipe it on the floor. And this is where I say, kids, stay in school. I went to school for years to learn how to make a mess like that. So if you want to grow up and make a mess like me, kids, you gotta stay in school. So I'm going to tuck this in at the outside corner first with the frame upright. Using my thumbs, I press down at the nose, and there's still a little bit of give. So I'm going to take that back out, and I'm going to take it down about 1/10 of a millimeter. I do not want to force the frame or the lens into the frame, just because if it's too large, it'll stretch the frame or warp it, or even worse, it's called rolling. If you can imagine your frame like a gutter, that gutter is going to tilt outward. It's going to roll this way, forcing your lens to fall out. Since I'm very particular about every job that I cut and I ship all over the world, I just want to make sure your lenses fit in there and snap in there perfectly, so that years from now, if you ever want to change your lenses out, if it's time for a new prescription, you don't have to buy a new frame. You can just buy prescription lenses and I'll send them right to your home. Because that's what I do. I'm wearing the new Wayfarer in color 2130, I'm sorry, it's the model number 2132. This is color 6053. I wear a lot of blue business dress shirts. The blue with the crystal goes with my blue with the pinstripes. And what I do is I wear this frame in many colors. I pop my unbreakable prescription lenses out and put them into a different color every day depending on what I'm wearing. My wife is jealous that I get to accessorize now, so she wants a pair of these. But it's the same thing. Should you ever, Chris, if you ever get another color of these, and you don't have to buy them from me, that's the nice thing, is you'll be able to pop these lenses out that I'm sending you and put them into a different color, and then you can match every outfit that you have. So because the water is running, we're on the last 20 seconds of the cycle. In just a moment I'll take it back out, and here we go. Let's see if it fits this time. I've programmed the machine to cut just a little bit large first time around, because the golden rule, you can always cut more off of a lens, you can never add it back on there. So I start large and work my way down. Real quick, back to the handstone. Real quick, back to the safety bevel, and then even quicker, use my thumbnail to scrape all that off. You know what's coming, that's right, wipe it on the floor. Kids, stay in school. So in order to put the lenses in there, I hold the frame upright where the temples are pointed downward. I tuck the lens in at the outside corner first. Using my thumbs, I press down at the nose, and now it snaps in. To make sure it's not too snug, I'm going to flip it over, and this is how you're going to take your lenses out in the future should you ever want new lenses. I'm right-handed, so I grab the frame in my left hand. I put my thumb on. It's always with the thumb, it's always at the nose. You're always going to push down with your thumb, no matter whether you're putting them in or not. You just have to push down with your thumb. So I put my thumb at the nose, I grab the lens by this side, I put my other thumb on top, and I push downward. Pops out rather easily. So to insert it back in, and if you notice, I'm working on the side closest to me. I'm not trying to reach over the frame and put it in that way. I turn it around where it's closest to me. Again, just tuck it in at the outside corner and push down at the nose. Some people like to push it in at the nose first and then push down at the edge. You know, you'll develop your own technique with this. This is the thickest part of the frame at the bridge, the strongest, so that's where I apply the force. You'll never have a problem doing this. By the way, your lenses are unbreakable, so you'll never hurt your lens, and you'll never hurt your frame as long as it's room temperature. I do ship all over the world. I am concerned that some person's going to leave a frame in the car overnight in freezing weather and the plastic gets brittle, and then they try and pop them in. But as long as it's room temperature, you'll never have a problem. So I'm flipping this over to the left side and then hitting start. And just like before, the calipers are going to come down, but this time they're going to trace the left side of your frame onto the lens to make sure the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. Again, starting with the rear surface, the concave surface closest to your eyelashes, then it's going to move over, and the other side of the calipers will trace the convex side of the lens, which sits away from the face. And that is the end of your vocabulary lesson for today. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. So as soon as your prescription lenses touches down onto the cutting wheel, I'm going to close the door and continue to work on your right lens. There we go. So this block is no longer needed. I'm going to take that off. Pull off this blue sticker. stick that on the counter. Dry your lens off for what was moist around there. If you notice you still have the red dot, I'm going to leave that on there. That's what I'm going to measure later on. But I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 100. Let me do that. I'm going to put the lens in, and I'm going to put it right, that red dot right in the middle of my viewfinder. And I'm going to scope this in, and I'm getting -3. That is what your right lens reads. I'm going to have a combined power of -350, because if someone borrowed $3 and they borrowed another 50 cents from you, they would owe you $350. So I'm going to check your astigmatism, and that's where we have 350, which is exactly halfway between 3 and 4. So your right lens is cut correctly. Now your prescription reads, your right eye reads -3, -50 at 100 is how we pronounce that. -3 1/4, -50 at 165. You've heard of gallons, ounces, of pounds. Well, the unit of measurement in the optical field is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, and everything is in quarter increments, with 0 being plano, no prescription, and it goes up plus or minus depending on if you need magnification or minification, and you actually need minification. You're at a -3, so you're at 12 steps. If you're on a ladder, you're on the 12th rung of the ladder. Now you need, without your glasses on, things are actually much too large. When you put your lenses on, it actually minifies down to the correct size. So you need 12 steps of correction to make everything the correct size. You need 2 steps of astigmatism correction to take away the fuzzy edges. Now there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. It is not a disease, it is not an affliction. Everyone freaks out when they hear that word, but it just refers to a shape. So, this number gets everything the correct size. This number takes away fuzzy edges. So 6s and 8s and P's and F, the 2 letters don't look alike. The 100, this is the fine-tune knob. So if this straight line were from 0 to 180, we would turn just past 90 and stop at 100. That's where we turn that fine-tune knob to make everything nice and crisp. Now your left eye is -3 1/4, -50 at 165. These first 2 numbers are actually real values. This is just an arbitrary number between 0 and 180. So you're on the 13th rung of a ladder, and that's good with tomorrow being Friday the 13th. You're on the 13th rung of a ladder with an additional 2 steps to correct for your astigmatism.